What's up, guys? Welcome back. Amazing RC, Brian here, and still working on our WPL D12, our fully custom car. Last night, we ran this car with the stock electronics in it. I had a predetermined course outside, went up to the church, ran some laps with this cool new lap counter app I got from my buddy Brent, and the car did pretty darn good for being stock. If you guys have caught that video, that's the one where we skipped a few teeth on the last lap, our steering servo, and I yanked it back over, and big old click, and, got our last lap going. But we put up some pretty good times. And the reason why I ran this stock, stock with the electronics, is because I wanted to get kind of a baseline, just in case this either A, went faster, or B, handled better, and in return, going faster, once I upgraded a few of the electronics. One of the things that I wanted to do was to get my radio link transmitter onto this rig, and it's exactly what I did today. We got the little D12 stock transmitter out. Here's our little D12 receiver slash ESC. Once I got that out, getting the new stuff soldered in, I didn't replace everything. Stock motor, stock battery, but I did replace our receiver. I did replace our little ESC, and I got that little $10, $12 chipset ESC. Bought 10 of them from Banggood back in the day. I still got a bunch of them. They've been resoldered onto 10 different cars each. And I tell you, they're not rock crawler ESCs, but they sure do the job. And I'll tell you, they do the job pretty darn good. It is gonna be faster. Now I say it is gonna be faster because it's pouring rain outside. Tomorrow, it's going to be pouring rain outside. Tomorrow's going to be Saturday. So we will not be able to get out and test this car proper. However, I will show you that it is a little faster. It's not the only thing I did to the car. I'll show you one more thing I did in just a second. But basically, here's our electronics. Got our little, receiver and chipset ESC. One of the things I did do to this ESC is I took the on-off switch out. You don't get a lot of room up here in the D12. They really, when they designed this car, they didn't give much room other than what was needed to fit the stuff they had in here stock. You get this little tiny cove in here, and I'll tell you, I had this receiver flipped upside up to where I could just plug in lights anytime I wanted to, because remember, we want lights. I actually got this little lead right here, little teeny tiny lead right here. That's going to be for our lights later on that we're going to be able to manipulate from our little transmitter here. But this didn't fit. And I was really hurting our receiver and the little cords that were coming out of it. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to just, push it all down and smush it and then run some screws in it. It's just not a good idea. So I actually flipped our receiver upside down and fired all of our wires into the little belly of the car. And now this little guy does fit. It gets right in there, screws on down. Because remember, this is not what we're going to be doing. This is not the last D12 we did. We are going to build our D12 with our body kit. All the parts are going back on. So all this interior stuff has to be able to go back together, and it does. I have since pulled it back off because we've got a lot of work to do with this stuff here with paint and LEDs, but I do want to get this outside. I do want to set up the same exact course that I did last time, and I want to get some numbers for it. Remember, that killer app Brent got for me, it's got the numbers for the stock setup. I got 10, 11 good laps. We're going to average a bunch of them out. And if you guys haven't seen that video and you're watching this one, I'll leave a link to that video in the description of this one. You got to check it out. As you can see, we've got our little GoPro Hero 8 here. Reason for that is, and this carbon fiber piece. These two are not staying. The GoPro Hero 8 and this piece of carbon fiber, not staying. That's only here to test our speed and handling of our new electronics. Once we're done doing that, all that's coming out of here. We're going to go ahead and get everything painted up, get it all put all back together, and then we're going to have what I believe to be one hell of a D12. But all of those questions will be answered once we get that next video. For this video, I did want to show you that, in fact, I think it's going to be faster, and I'll tell you why. Now remember, I got rid of the on-off switch. There's a little tiny on-off switch here. We didn't have room for none of that. As you can see in this photograph, everything's in here pretty darn snug. So now you don't actually have to turn it on and off. You just plug the battery in, and this thing should crank right up. So here's our little battery. Bam! We're cranked up, ready to go. As soon as I hit the gas on this, I knew for a fact we were juicing. So That's ready to rock and roll right there. Now, one thing I told you guys that I thought this was going to have, that I thought for sure was going to help out in handling, was brakes. And I was wrong. This ESC does not have brakes, but it has reverse, it has forward, and boy does it have forward. I'm telling you, I'm jacked up. Remember, we had this exact same setup. That's what this carbon fiber came from. We had this exact same setup back in the day. We were flying through this house, big old goofy tires on the D12, but we ran an open car. This is not going to be an open car. We are going to put all of this back together. Remember, our carbon fiber splitter, that's going to get done. We've got a lot of work to do. One other thing that I did, if you guys remember in the last video, had an issue lap 10. I smacked into one of our big blue buckets out there. I was really getting into it, and it jacked up the steering. Didn't even realize it till I tried to pull away again, but our wheels were like whammo, way over here, and they were supposed to be straight. And basically what happened is this cool little servo horn under here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but that's how the servo horn works here. And it took the servo horn and slammed it over about 12 teeth. Not this portion up here, but the actual part where it's connected to the servo. It melted, nuked all the teeth on it. And that's why when I went snap, it just kind of put everything back together real quick, and on we went. Well, it's not going to stay put back together. As soon as I hit anything, it's just going to smoke the rest of the teeth out. So what I did was, I got in there with a teeny tiny bit of this clear Gorilla Glue. If you guys do not have any of this stuff, go get some now. This is really good glue. It doesn't expand. It doesn't turn white, foamy, bubbly, and start exploding everything. I've actually made keychains out of this before by taking a little piece of carbon fiber and putting a decal in there and then just running layer after layer after layer of this and letting it roll over. I'm going off the rails, guys. Cool keychains. Ask me how later on. I'll tell you how to do it. But anyway, I threw a little tiny dot of that on a toothpick. Just had a little teeny toothpick here, put a little dot of glue, and then just barely touch the inside of that servo horn, threw that thing right back down. 10 minutes later, I promise you, it will not be skipping any teeth because there are no more teeth. I do have another one. So if for some reason something happens, no big deal. We're ready to rock and roll. I wish I could take this outside right now and run a few laps because I know it's faster. I'm gonna really have to pay attention once I get into those turns. Remember, we don't have any brakes, so it's basically gonna be punch the gas and then let off the gas to get into the turn. I'm not gonna practice either. If you guys saw the last video, there was no practice. We threw the car on the ground. The first lap was horrible. The second lap was better, and then I shaved 10, 20 tenths of a second all the way down until I hit the bucket and blew the whole front end of the car out. This is going to be a slamming car. We haven't even got to my specialty yet, which is painting this thing. All we're doing right now is running electronics. Got these really killer chromeo wheels on here. Can't tell, I'm jacked, guys. Tomorrow's video, if I can get a video on tomorrow, which will be Saturday, we're going to go ahead and get back into the Emax. Now, if you guys remember, our dual brushless Emax was about to be pulled all apart, and I was going to start selling a few things out of that because I needed money to purchase something else. I'm not going to remind everybody what that was, but we'll just say I may not have to actually buy one now. That might be Sunday. So, guys, got a lot of cool things going on here. Old Amazing RC. You're going to want to stick around, catch our next few videos. Big things coming. Till next time, guys, it's Brian. Amazing RC, fully custom D12 on its way. We'll see you guys with another really cool video very, very soon.